The night was silent, yet the earth seemed to breathe in a strange way. Deep in the forgotten corners of the planet, far below mountains and oceans, there rested a place that humans had long abandoned. It was a chamber of stone and steel, older than any empire, older than any nation. Inside that chamber lay something massive, something that time itself had tried to bury. For thousands of years, humanity had forgotten the stories. The legends had turned into myths, myths had turned into whispers, and whispers had faded into nothing. Children no longer grew up hearing about the Guardian. Scholars dismissed the tales as nonsense. Yet hidden beneath the earth, the Guardian waited. Above the surface, life continued as usual. Cities shined with light, people laughed, fought, worked, and dreamed. They never thought that far above their skies, forces were already watching them. From the darkness of space, enormous alien warships drifted silently. Their shapes blocked the stars. Their size made mountains look small. Their weapons glowed with unholy power. The aliens had been waiting for this moment. For centuries, their records showed Earth was weak, divided, and unprepared. They saw humans as nothing more than a small species on a small planet. Now they came with one purpose, to claim Earth. They believed no one would resist. They believed humans would bow their heads. Inside government halls, panic grew. Leaders gathered in secret rooms. Some shouted for surrender. Some demanded resistance. But all of them knew the truth. Humanity had no weapon strong enough to face the alien fleet. Fear spread across the world like fire in dry grass. The question was not if they would lose, but when. But beneath their feet, the earth itself began to stir. In the silent chamber, ancient machines slowly started to hum. Dust fell from the ceiling as lights flickered alive. A pulse of energy rippled through the ground, almost like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. For the first time in ages, the Guardian twitched. A tremor shook the nearby mountains. Villagers who lived above the hidden chamber felt the earth move. They crossed themselves, whispered prayers, and spoke of old tales their grandparents once told them. Some said the earth was angry, some said the gods had returned, but none of them could imagine the truth. The Guardian's body, forged from forgotten science and strange energy, began to glow faintly. Symbols along its arms lit up one by one, as though it was remembering itself. It had been created long ago for one purpose only, to defend Earth when no other hope remained. The creators were gone, their civilizations turned to dust, but their masterpiece still remained, waiting in silence. Above the planet, the alien commander sat upon his throne of steel. His face was sharp, his eyes cold. His voice thundered across the bridge of the ship. "Send the message," he said. "Tell the humans their time has ended." A signal rushed down toward Earth, demanding surrender. Every nation heard the same words. A voice filled with arrogance echoed across the skies. "Humans, your planet is ours. Kneel before us, or we will erase your world." Fear became chaos. Cities cried out, armies prepared, but deep inside, every soldier and every leader knew humanity was not ready. Yet as despair grew, strange energy readings began to appear. Scientists stared at their screens in disbelief. Something powerful was waking beneath the crust of the earth. The aliens noticed it too. Their scanners blared alarms. Their ships circled nervously. "What is this?" their commander growled. "The humans have no such power." But in his heart, a shadow of fear grew. On Earth, an old historian sat in his quiet study, surrounded by dusty books. His eyes widened as he read the words of forgotten scrolls. "The Guardian of Earth sleeps," he whispered, "and when the stars grow hostile, it shall rise again." His voice trembled. Could it be true? Could the myths of his ancestors be real? The ground rumbled again, this time stronger, louder. The villagers screamed as cracks split the land. A great gust of wind rushed out from the hidden chamber, carrying with it the smell of metal and fire. The Guardian's chest lifted like a sleeper taking its first breath after ages of silence. In the stars above, the alien commander stood frozen, staring at the readings on his screens. "Impossible," he whispered. For the first time in his long life, he felt the weight of dread. Something ancient had answered his challenge, and beneath the earth, with glowing eyes and a voice that shook the stone walls, the Guardian whispered a single word. A word carried into the air, though no human yet heard it. Awake. The legend had begun to stir, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The skies above Earth grew darker, not from clouds, but from shadows cast by alien warships. They hovered like predators, their armor gleaming with a light that was not sunlight. Across the world, people pointed to the heavens and gasped, for the stars they once trusted were now hidden. In the heart of the largest alien vessel, the commander paced. His name was Karzul, and his race had conquered countless worlds. To him, Earth was nothing more than another jewel to claim. But something about the energy readings unsettled him. His scientists bowed low and whispered that strange forces were rising from the planet's core. He crushed their doubt with a glare. "Do not fear ghosts," he said. "Fear me instead." On Earth, chaos spread. Governments called emergency meetings. Soldiers filled the streets. Fighter jets roared into the sky. But they were like ants preparing to fight giants. Panic struck cities as alien broadcasts interrupted every channel. "Humans, surrender your world. If you resist, your oceans will boil, your lands will burn, and your people will fade into dust." In living rooms, in schools, in quiet villages, children clutched their parents, mothers wept, fathers clenched their fists. And yet, deep in the mountains, tremors still shook the ground. The Guardian was not yet ready, but its awakening grew louder with every heartbeat. One young soldier stood on the walls of a defense base. His name was Daniel, and though he was only one man, his eyes carried the same fear that every human felt. He looked up at the alien warships and whispered, "If this is the end, let it be written that we did not kneel." His words spread through the soldiers around him. A spark of defiance lit in their hearts. The alien fleet began to move. Dozens of smaller ships broke away, entering Earth's orbit. Each one carried weapons capable of leveling entire cities. Humanity had no shield strong enough, no weapon sharp enough. Still, generals barked orders: "Hold your ground, fight with everything." Meanwhile, in secret laboratories beneath the Earth, scientists stared at trembling machines. Energy spikes rose higher and higher. Their instruments screamed warnings. "Something old is waking," one whispered. The lead scientist adjusted his glasses, his face pale. "This is not human technology. This is something far beyond us." High above, Commander Karzul watched the readings grow brighter on his screens. His claws tightened around his chair. He remembered a story from his ancestors, a warning carved into stone tablets. They spoke of a world guarded by a force older than the stars themselves, a force that could shatter empires. He snarled and shook the thought away. "Superstition," he spat. "There are no guardians, only prey." But then the earth itself groaned. The ground split open in remote valleys, rivers boiled and mountains cracked. From deep below came a pulse of light, so powerful that even the alien ships shuddered. The soldiers of Earth looked to the sky, and the invaders looked to their scanners. Both sides saw the same truth. Something was coming. In the control room of a human command center, leaders stared at the readings in disbelief. "What is this power?" one asked. Another whispered, "Could it be the Guardian?" The words spread like wildfire across radios, across battlefields, across the minds of humanity. Hope began to flicker. The alien commander, furious, ordered his ships to fire a warning shot. A blast of energy ripped through Earth's upper atmosphere. It painted the night sky with fire. Cities trembled, windows shattered. The people screamed, and yet beneath the Earth, the Guardian stirred harder. Its chest rose again, its eyes burned brighter. In the mountains where villagers prayed, a child looked at the glowing cracks in the ground and said softly, "He is waking." The old stories had returned, and this time they were not stories. The alien ships gathered closer, forming a ring around Earth. Their weapons pointed down, ready to destroy. Commander Karzul raised his hand. "We end this now," he growled. But then the screens flashed again. A single word of energy burst from beneath the Earth. A signal so strong that even alien technology froze. That word was not human, yet every being understood it. It was the word of awakening, the word of defiance. And in that silence, for the first time in history, the invaders felt doubt. The Earth shook again, stronger than before. Entire valleys quaked as if giants were moving beneath the ground. From the depths of forgotten chambers, light burst upward, piercing the soil and rock. It spread like veins of fire across mountainsides and deserts, and the world could no longer ignore it. Humans everywhere stared in shock. On the streets of cities, in the quiet of villages, in the silence of military bases, people saw the same glowing light rising from the earth. It was not fire, it was not lightning, it was something alive. Deep underground, the Guardians' eyes opened. Twin orbs of burning gold that cut through the darkness. The ancient machine being took its first real breath in thousands of years. Metal groaned, gears screamed, and runes etched into its body shined like 1,000 suns. The chamber that once held silence now thundered with the sound of awakening. Above the planet, alien scanners screamed with alarms, their screens flooded with impossible numbers. The energy coming from Earth was older and stronger than anything they had ever faced. "This cannot be," shouted one alien officer. "This power is beyond calculation." Commander Karzul rose from his throne, his face twisted in disbelief. For the first time, the Predator felt fear. On Earth, soldiers dropped their weapons in awe, scientists covered their mouths, leaders whispered prayers, and an old historian wept with trembling hands. "It is true," he said. "The Guardian has returned." The Guardian's massive body rose within the chamber. Dust rained down, the earth above cracked wider. Its arms flexed, its chest glowed, and a deep sound rolled through the ground like thunder. Not words yet, but the voice of something that had slept too long. The aliens reacted with violence. Dozens of their smaller ships swooped lower, preparing to fire upon the glowing cracks in the earth. "Destroy it before it awakens fully," Karzul ordered. His fleet obeyed, and blasts of red energy rained down. Mountains exploded, forests burned, cities trembled under the storm of fire. But then from the cracks a beam of light shot upward. It was not a weapon, it was a shield of pure energy. The alien fire struck it and vanished like smoke in the wind. Their weapons, built to shatter planets, became useless against the Guardians' rising power. In the command center of Earth's military, officers stared at their screens with wide eyes. It blocked their weapons, one whispered. "Nothing has ever blocked them before." Another leaned closer. "This is not our doing. This is something greater." The Guardian's voice echoed through the earth, slow and ancient, carrying across mountains and seas. It was not in any known language, yet every human and every alien understood it. "I am awake," the voice declared. Fear tore through the alien fleet. Ships pulled back, captains shouted, but Karzul slammed his fist against the console. "Stand your ground. It is only a machine." But deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong. This was no simple machine. This was will. This was destiny. The Guardian's eyes turned upward, piercing through stone and soil as though they were nothing. The ground above shattered, and a colossal hand of glowing steel broke free. The earth trembled as if welcoming its protector. People across the planet fell to their knees. Some prayed, some cried, some shouted with joy. Hope, long lost, returned like a roaring fire. Humanity, once ready to surrender, now felt strength rise in their hearts. The Guardian pulled itself free from the ground, its colossal frame towering into the night sky. Stars reflected off its shining body, and for a moment, the entire universe seemed to fall silent. Aliens froze in shock. Humans gasped in awe. The forgotten protector had returned, and as the Guardian's full form stood above the world, its voice thundered once more, louder, clearer, shaking the heavens themselves. "Earth shall not fall." The words carried across space, through ships, through hearts, through the very fabric of the stars, and in that instant, even the galaxies beyond seemed to hold their breath. The Guardian stood half free from the earth, its glowing body stretching toward the heavens. The stars reflected across its metallic skin, and the mountains around it cracked under its sheer weight. Across the planet, billions watched in silence. Some wept, some cheered, but all felt the same thing: awe. Yet above, the alien fleet moved closer, comms. Ander Karzul clenched his fists. His voice growled through the command decks. "Do not fear shadows. This world is ours. Burn it until nothing remains." His ships obeyed. Weapons turned downward, gathering energy. The skies lit red with the fire of destruction. On Earth, human generals stood in their command centers, their faces pale, their voices steady but trembling. "All defenses to full alert," they ordered. Fighter jets launched. Tanks rolled through cities. Soldiers tightened their grips on rifles. Every man and woman knew their weapons were weak, but no one ran. They would fight even against gods. Among them was Daniel, the young soldier who had sworn not to kneel. He stood on the walls of a military base, staring at the glowing Titan in the distance. His heart beat fast, not from fear but from hope. He whispered, "If the Guardian rises, we may yet survive." His comrades nodded, clinging to that single spark of belief. But the Guardian was not yet fully awake. Its steps were slow, its chest still pulsing. Each breath seemed to draw power from the very core of the planet. The ground shook with every movement. Lightning struck across skies where there were no storms. The world itself was feeding its protector. The alien fleet began their attack. Beams of energy fell like storms. Cities exploded, oceans boiled, skyscrapers crumbled like sand. The cries of humanity echoed across the earth. Yet in the fire and the chaos, voices rose with defiance. "We will not bow," they shouted. "We will fight." Inside his massive throne, Commander Karzul grinned with cruelty. He wanted to break the humans before crushing their planet. "Let them resist," he sneered. "It will make their fall sweeter." Yet his grin faltered as his scanners screamed once again. The Guardian's power kept rising, unstoppable, ancient, endless. Scientists hidden in underground bunkers stared at their monitors. "It is pulling energy from the Earth itself," one whispered. "No weapon can match this, not even the stars." Another trembled. "It was built for this very moment." The room fell silent as they realized what they were witnessing. The Guardian finally raised its head fully. Its golden eyes locked onto the alien armada. The night itself seemed to grow still. The world held its breath. The Guardian's voice thundered across the earth and into the skies. "No invader shall take this soil." Alien soldiers across their ships froze. Some dropped their weapons. Some whispered to themselves, "It speaks." For the first time, the conquerors felt like prey. On Earth, human leaders leaned forward in their chairs, hearts pounding. "It speaks for us," one said. Another whispered, "Then we must fight beside it." They ordered their forces into full engagement, not as hopeless defenders, but as warriors standing beside their ancient protector. Daniel and his fellow soldiers raised their weapons. Jets soared through the skies. Battleships sailed into the oceans. Humanity rose, not to surrender, but to fight. The Guardian had awakened their courage. The alien fleet unleashed another wave of fire. Yet this time, the Guardian raised one arm. A shield of golden energy bloomed outward, protecting the earth from the worst of the storm. The blast struck, but instead of destruction, they scattered like sparks against stone. From the mountains, the Guardian roared. Its voice shook valleys, cracked stones, and sent echoes into the void of space. Humanity cheered as hope surged like fire, but Commander Karzul snarled in rage. His claws dug into the arm of his throne. "Foolish machine," he shouted. "You think you can defy the stars? Then let us show you the true power of empire." He ordered the entire fleet to prepare their main weapons, weapons capable of tearing moons apart. The skies above Earth darkened as the alien ships gathered their strength. Beams of terrible light began to form, thousands of weapons locked onto a single target, the Guardian. Humanity braced itself. Leaders prayed, soldiers clenched their fists. The next moment would decide everything, and yet, in the silence before the storm, the Guardian's chest glowed brighter than ever. Its voice, calm and steady, rolled through the air. "Then let us see whose will is stronger." The battle for Earth was about to begin. The night sky split open with light. Alien weapons glowed like dying suns. Thousands of cannons pointed at a single being on Earth. Humanity looked upward with trembling hearts, knowing the next breath might be their last. The Guardian stood tall, its colossal frame glowing brighter with every passing second. Energy pulsed through its body like rivers of molten gold. The ground beneath it cracked and burned, as though the earth itself poured life into its protector. Commander Karzul raised his claw and gave the command, "Fire!" The alien fleet unleashed their full power. Beams of destruction ripped through the sky, each one strong enough to turn mountains into ash. They struck the Guardian with the fury of an entire empire. For a moment, the world disappeared in fire. Humanity screamed, believing their last hope had fallen. Cities shook, oceans rose, the night turned into day as energy storms spread across the earth. But when the light cleared, the Guardian was still standing. Its shield glowed with cracks of golden flame, and its eyes burned brighter than ever. Slowly, it raised its head, the stars above reflected in its gaze, and silence fell across both earth and the heavens. Then, with a voice that shook the bones of every living being, the Guardian spoke, "You shall not break this world." The alien fleet wavered. Captains shouted in disbelief. Some demanded retreat. Others cried for more fire, but no amount of energy could bring the Guardian down. Its body absorbed the storm, feeding awe. In it, growing stronger, humanity erupted with hope. Soldiers cheered. Children cried with joy. Leaders pounded their fists on tables. It stands with us," they shouted. For the first time in history, Earth was not begging for mercy. It was rising in defiance. The Guardian moved. One colossal step shook mountains, another cracked rivers. Its towering frame rose higher, breaking through clouds. Its arms stretched wide, and wings of golden energy unfolded from its back. They shimmered like the aurora, covering half the sky. People gasped. Some dropped to their knees in worship. Others raised their fists to the heavens. "Guardian," they cried, "defend us!" In the alien flagship, Karzul's face twisted with fury. His scientists screamed as their scanners collapsed under the Guardian's power. "This cannot be," one shouted. "It draws strength from the planet itself," Karzul snarled, his voice trembling with rage and fear. "Then we destroy the planet with it." His order echoed through the fleet. Massive weapons began to charge, designed not just to destroy the Guardian, but to tear the Earth itself apart. Humanity heard the warnings. The entire world fell silent. If the aliens fired, Earth would die, Guardian or not. But the Guardian raised its hand. A glow formed in its palm, brighter than any star. The Earth rumbled, volcanoes roared, oceans surged, and all that power funneled into the Guardian's hand. A single sphere of light grew, pulsing like a newborn sun. Aliens panicked. "Impossible," they cried. "It holds a weapon greater than a star." Their ships tried to scatter, but space itself seemed to bend under the Guardian's will. Then the Guardian unleashed its power. A beam of golden fire shot upward, tearing through the heavens. It pierced alien ships like they were paper. Entire fleets shattered in an instant. Fire spread across the stars, and silence followed. For a heartbeat, no one moved, no one breathed. Humanity stared in shock. Aliens screamed in horror. The universe itself seemed frozen. The Guardian's voice rolled again, calm yet terrifying. "You came to break Earth, but now you will remember it." The remaining alien ships pulled back. Their commanders shouted in panic, "Retreat, retreat." The stars that once belonged to conquerors now belonged to fear. On Earth, Daniel the soldier fell to his knees. Tears filled his eyes. He had seen death. He had seen despair. But now he had seen a miracle. "We are not alone," he whispered. "We were never alone." The Guardian spread its wings wider. Its light touched the oceans, the forests, the deserts, and the cities. For the first time in history, humanity felt truly united, not by fear, but by hope. And above, the heavens themselves seemed frozen, watching the rise of the forgotten Guardian of Earth. The stars above Earth burned with fire. The alien fleet regrouped, broken yet still vast. Their warships stretched across the sky like a second galaxy, weapons glowing with deadly light. Commander Karzul's voice thundered through the armada. "This machine cannot defy us all. Crush it, or we shall lose everything." The Guardian stood on Earth's surface, wings of golden energy stretching beyond the clouds. Its body glowed with power drawn from the very core of the planet. Its eyes fixed on the heavens, unshaken by the thousands of warships waiting to strike. Humanity held its breath. Soldiers, scientists, leaders, children. Every heart beat in rhythm with the Guardian. They knew they stood at the edge of extinction, or the dawn of something greater. The aliens fired. A storm of energy beams fell like meteors, each one strong enough to destroy entire nations. The sky blazed with death, but the Guardian rose from the earth, soaring upward with a sound like thunder breaking mountains. Its shield expanded, absorbing the storm. Golden light met crimson fire, and the heavens themselves seemed to too. Ear apart, the first clash shook the universe. Ships exploded, burning across the void. Alien weapons shattered against the Guardian's shield. And the Titan moved with impossible speed, tearing through enemy lines like a storm through leaves. In his flagship, Karzul roared, "Impossible! It fights like an army of worlds," his captain shouted in panic. "Our ships are falling, our weapons are failing." But the commander's pride chained him to madness. "No retreat," he demanded. "Break the machine or die." The Guardian raised its hand, a beam of light burst forth, slicing through 10 ships at once. Another strike crushed a battleship into fragments. Its wings spread wide, sending waves of energy that ripped entire squadrons apart. The galaxy trembled as the Titan fought. On Earth, humanity watched with awe. Daniel, the young soldier, clutched his rifle and stared at the sky. "It is fighting for us," he whispered. Tears filled his eyes. "No, it is fighting with us." And humanity answered. Across the seas, submarines fired missiles at smaller alien crafts. Fighter jets soared into the sky. Their weapons were weak, yet they fought with fire in their hearts. They fought not as victims but as allies beside their guardian. The aliens unleashed their most powerful weapons, vast cannons that drew energy from dying stars. They fired beams that split the heavens. Each blast roared like the end of creation. The Guardian staggered under the blows. Its shield cracked, sparks burst across its body. For a moment, humanity trembled. Could even this ancient protector fall? But the Guardian roared. Its voice rolled across space, louder than the weapons of empires. "I do not fall." It drew power again, the earth itself glowing beneath it. Oceans surged, volcanoes erupted, lightning split the skies. The planet gave its strength to its guardian. With renewed fury, the Titan struck back. It tore apart the largest alien dreadnought, ripping its core into fire. It hurled burning fragments into enemy lines, turning fleets into falling meteors. The heavens became a battlefield of fire and light. Karzul watched in horror as his empire's pride crumbled. "This cannot be," he whispered. His claws shook. His empire had crushed hundreds of worlds. But this one world, this one forgotten planet, defied them all. The Guardian's eyes locked onto Karzul's flagship. For the first time, the commander felt truly seen, truly hunted. The Titan raised its hand, light gathering once again. The commander shouted in fear, "All ships, protect me." Thousands of vessels rushed forward, but they were like insects before a storm. The Guardian unleashed its wrath. A river of golden fire swallowed the commander's protectors. Ships shattered, screams echoed through space, and the heavens fell silent. On Earth, the people erupted with hope. Cheers thundered across cities. Villagers cried with joy. Soldiers roared as they fought harder. The Guardian's defiance had become humanity's defiance. But the battle was not yet over. Though broken and scattered, fragments of the alien armada still fought. They regrouped, desperate and furious, pouring everything into one last strike. The heavens glowed once more, as if two suns battled in the void. Humanity prayed, aliens screamed, and the Guardian spread its wings again. Its voice shook the universe. "Let this battle be remembered. Let it be written. Earth stands." The final clash began, and the fate of worlds hung in the balance. The heavens burned. Stars seemed to vanish beneath the storm of fire and light. The alien armada, once proud and endless, now scattered in chaos. Ships fled in every direction, commanders shouting, soldiers weeping. But the Guardian gave them no escape. Its colossal wings stretched wider, glowing like suns. Energy rippled through space as it surged forward, striking down warship after warship. The void echoed with explosions, each one death cry of an empire that believed itself untouchable. Commander Karzul's flagship shook as alarm screamed. Flames tore through its halls. His officers begged for retreat. "We cannot win," they cried. "This is no machine, it is a god." But Karzul refused, his pride burning hotter than the fires consuming his fleet. "I will not bow to a myth," he shouted. "I will destroy it, even if it takes my life." The Guardian's golden eyes locked on him. For a heartbeat, the entire universe seemed to freeze. Every human on Earth, every alien in the fleet, felt that gaze. It was the stare of something older than stars, a force that judged all who dared touch Earth. The Titan raised its hand. A sphere of light formed, brighter than any sun. The flagship trembled as if it knew its end. Karzul roared one last time, his voice breaking. "I am no prey," but his words were swallowed in silence. The Guardian unleashed its final strike. A river of light swallowed the flagship. It shattered into dust, its fragments scattered across the void. The Empire's heart was gone. The Conqueror was no more. The remaining alien ships broke. Discipline collapsed, fear devoured them. Some hurled their weapons into the void and fled. Others cried to their gods, but one message spread faster than fire through their surviving fleet: do not return to Earth. On the planet below, humanity erupted, streets filled with cheers. Villagers fell to their knees. Soldiers raised their weapons in triumph. The world that had once stood on the edge of extinction now stood united under one truth: they were protected. Daniel, the young soldier, looked up at the sky. His voice shook with awe. We survived, not because we begged, not because we surrendered, but because we stood, and because the Guardians stood with us. His comrades nodded, tears on their faces. The Guardian hovered above the earth, silent now, its wings folded slowly, its body glowing less brightly, as if the battle had drained it, yet its eyes still burned with golden fire. It looked down at humanity, not as ruler, not as savior, but as watcher. Its voice rolled across the earth one final time, steady and calm. You are not weak. You are not alone. When darkness comes again, I shall rise. Then its massive body lowered back toward the earth. The ground opened like a womb welcoming its child. The Guardians sank into the mountains, into the soil, into the deep chambers where it had slept for ages. The light faded, the cracks closed, and silence returned. But this silence was not fear. It was peace. Humanity stood stronger than ever, united by what they had witnessed. The story of the Guardians spread across every nation. Every tongue carried its name. Children would grow not with fear, but with pride, knowing they were heirs of a world protected by something greater. Far away in the galaxy, broken alien survivors limped home. Their voices trembled as they told the truth. Do not go to Earth. Do not awaken its guardian. The warning spread like fire across the stars, and the name of Earth became legend. The forgotten world had become untouchable. The prey had become predator. The weak had become eternal. And somewhere deep beneath mountains and oceans, the Guardian slept again, its golden eyes closed, its voice echoing one last time in the hearts of humanity. I watch. I wait. I rise. The battle was over, but the legend had only just begun.